tell us who you are. Tell us about Grow.
So I'm Alistair McLeay, one of the 3 co-founders of grw.ai, and we've built Taylor. Taylor's a teammate that, an AI agent teammate that builds and runs the processes in your sales team. And so we work mainly with growth companies across the US. And what does it look like for Taylor to be in the team? Basically, salespeople can spend far more time talking to customers, and sales managers can spend more time supporting those deals. And ultimately, that means that the whole team can drive more revenue.
Why do you reckon everyone's naming their agents after not just their company name? Like, why not the Grow agent?
Right?
They're all personifying them. As
even on the big end, right? Like Intercom and Finn. We've been talking about this because we're sort of marketing 2 brands. You've got Intercom and Finn, and you have to market both, and we're doing the same thing. I don't know. I think because we've been thinking in some ways it would make more sense to be all in on Taylor. I think it's a natural evolution where you start a company, you have the company name, we were kind of had an agent from day one, and so we had the name from day one. But I think people don't just still don't think about them as the same thing, right? Taylor is like an entity that our users have a relationship with, and Grow builds and maintains and gives life to Taylor.
With you guys sitting up over here as part of that, so you've got people on the ground, human faces for customers, or is it come more of a capital thing from in terms of fundraising? And
there's an element to both of those. So both of our funding rounds so far have been San Francisco-based investors. There's big advantages with that. There's so much capital here, but there's also just such deep connections into our customer base, with us, really focusing on the US market. The main reason though is, I guess, a little more ephemeral, which is there's this famous Sam Altman interview from years ago where he's if you really want to be the best at something, probably the single most important thing is that you go to the hotspot in the world for that thing. And for building a high growth AI company on the application side, this is the hotspot, inarguably. And so that sounds kind of ephemeral, and I believe you can build great companies from other places for sure. But when you're already doing something that is incredibly hard and the odds are stacked against you, giving yourself every advantage you can makes sense. And so it's okay, well, that again is all ephemeral. So what does that look like if we're being more specific? It's I will just people I interact with on Twitter who I would interact with in New Zealand, who are really on the cutting edge. They might be in the labs or whatever. I'll just see them at events here, or they'll DM me and be hey, do you want to come around to our office tomorrow evening? We're having some people around. And then you're having conversations with those guys that, they would never message me if I wasn't living here, because I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't bump into them. And then those kind of conversations, they might share an insight about how they're approaching a problem that no one is talking about publicly, that then we can apply. And so it's all these little things that compound, it really, you really feel that being here.
Yeah. We used to work with a guy called Steph Lewandowski, who had a great term for this, which was accelerating serendipity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
more
100%
chances for chance interactions to happen that lead to something bigger, kind of thing.
Exactly. And there's also just the, again, it's a little abstract, but the ambition, the level of ambition that's culturally normal here is, especially because in New Zealand we're obviously not great at being outwardly ambitious. It does rub off on you. You can kind of feel it change your mental model. And so we're really trying to build a company that blends the best of both, which is why we've got a HQ here and an HQ in New Zealand, and we're hiring the whole product engineering side in New Zealand, but then the customer side here. And so the vision is really to bring some of the best stuff about the kind of New Zealand innovative entrepreneurial culture that America doesn't have, and Silicon Valley, San Francisco doesn't have, and then flip side as well.
Are you scared of Anthropic at all? There's a lot of companies I'm talking to at the moment who are all kind of just aware of Anthropic nipping at their heels in terms of just the application layer swallowing everything.
Yeah, it's a good question. Am I scared? No. Do we think carefully about the role that the labs play in the future and our role in that? For sure. We really have a thesis that the future is multi-agent, and I mean, we even see that in our own business now, right? Like we have 5 or 6 agents that from different vendors, like not just the labs, that including our own agent, including other like startup agents that we use, that kind of like do a lot of running the company and our processes and things already. And I think that continues. And so it's really this like, if you can build a really great agent and go deep in an area, I think you have an important, like there's a huge opportunity for you, and that's obviously where we're playing and what we're betting on. But also I think the less controversial take now, maybe people are starting to realize, is that like software is not free, and like it's not going to be anytime soon. Because there's this narrative, like especially that's been on like the Twitter zeitgeist for the last 6 months or 9 months of like, software is actually free now. You know, there's no moats, like anyone can build anything overnight. And so like all SaaS is completely cooked, and it's like,
I wish it was free.
Yeah.
What have I been doing for the last 6 months?
It's like anyone, like if you actually try to build complex software and maintain it, like you would never say that, you know. You can definitely do way more with fewer people. Like we're a pretty small team for how much we're doing. But we're also hiring pretty aggressively because more really smart people like will just allow us to do way more. Like we are still bottlenecked on humans, and we like burn a huge amount of tokens as well. But that doesn't get you the whole way. You know? So I think it's like you can do a huge amount with a tiny team, but like you can also like overcorrect there, I think, as well.
Do you think about it differently, like having an agent that talks to other agents? Do you think about that differently from just having like strong like MCPs and tools that other agents can use? Like, how much advantage do you get from having an actual agent?
I mean, I think they both matter, but increasingly, I think that the like actually having your own agent is really important. Like an example is we use Raindrop for like observability of Taylor. They're based here as well, and they have an MCP which we use, which is really important. But they also expose their agent via their MCP, where you can actually like, the agent can go and do work for you. So you can make a request, you can like interact with it that way, and then it will come back. And that massively improves the value because they've optimized their agent to be really effective in their environment with the type of data that they have, right? And this is why I think there's like this multi-agent, we're betting on this multi-agent world where like agents are working with agents.
I guess it gets you closer to that. There's all that hype around like charging for the outcome now rather than charging for a platform, or like letting people do that.
Yeah, and it's interesting, that whole topic is really interesting. Like we're thinking a lot about it now because we used to have a mental model of like Taylor can do a whole lot of things that, say, for example, like a great sales leader can do. But it doesn't really map one-to-one. Like I think the right mental model is actually processes, because Taylor can do many things that a great sales leader just can't do. Like she can talk to every rep at the same time when they kick off their day. She can like literally never forget anything about each rep she's working with. But then on the flip side, like she can't take the team out to go bowling to like bond or get them coffee in the morning. Yeah. Well, until she's embodied, right? Yeah. And so we think about it like mapping to processes, and then from there it's like, okay, this is not really like a replacement for a human. This is actually like a new type of role, like a new AI type of role. And then so how do you price that? Well, it's like we fundamentally like drive up revenue for our customers, but we do all sorts of stuff. Like we also save them time. And so I think what we're observing is like there's a platform plus usage-based kind of pricing model that we're moving toward and that the industry is converging on. But this outcome version is like, no one has really seemed to have figured it out other than Intercom. Because Fin, like $1 per ticket resolution.
They got a nice unit of resolution.
That's like a really good example.
Narrow, right?
But like no one else has seemed to have made it work that we've seen so far. Like the best thing we've landed on, and like the industry I think has landed on broadly here with agents, is like some version of platform plus consumption. You get your like Claude Max plan, like we have kind of like the equivalent we're building out, where you get your kind of like your grow plan with like very generous consumption quotas. But then if you want to like go crazy with it and set up like really intense autonomous systems, which can now happen, and like automate a huge amount of work, then you can obviously just use credits beyond that.
That kind of covers you in terms of like inference costs and your cogs as well, right? Like you kind of not having customers which go rogue and like just have way more activity than everyone else. Because like software now, it used to be like, putting the marginal cost of like adding a customer to your SaaS was like nothing.
Exactly.
It's like we might need to post a little bit more. And now it's like, all right, I actually have to think about bringing on this customer because like you're gonna burn me some serious credits.
It's like we have customers who are on like pure seat based, that we used to do completely. That we maybe they pay $100 a month, and like we're spending like $1,000 a month on tokens for that one person. And we're just like figuring all of this out like as we're growing, so it's fine. Like we'll grandfather those people and support that as long as we can. But there's crazy stuff. There's crazy stuff that we're seeing like as usage explodes of this like proactive workflow paradigm that we have now. And it's like I don't want to be. Ultimately, like we want to really focus on how to understand that attribution and capture that upside because it's just so much greater than the cost model. But like to your point, like we still need to like we can't just infinitely burn tokens because we will run out of money. And so there are only so many months our token burn can double before it becomes a problem, which is like right about now.
We're in danger.
This is like the point where like the last month of doubling it, we're like, okay, we need a like revenue is growing really well, but it's not quite 50%, and so obviously you do the math and you've got to like figure out how to adjust your pricing model and how to make everything work. We're VC backed, we don't need to be profitable, but like we do need to figure out economics that make sense.
Nice, man. Thanks for chatting to us, mate. Like good to actually catch up in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to get over here and see how you guys are growing.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a good chat.
Underneath us.
That was a good catch up with Alistair from Grow. What was your take on it and what they're doing?
Yeah, some really interesting stuff in there. I quite like the sort of like, why they're here in San Francisco is sort of because it's like on the ground happening. I think it's a bit of a trope that like everything's bigger in America, right? But what he was saying was like everyone here has more like bigger ambitions. There's more money. It's kind of like if you're surrounded by that the whole time, then the expectations on you are higher. And it's not to say that massive companies and successful companies can't be built outside of San Francisco, but that there is something to be said for the bar being really high because you're surrounded by that the whole time. So I found that.
Is that's kind of what we're doing on a small level with this trip, right? It's just getting out of New Zealand, talking to folks over here. Like a short, sharp burst of that, whereas they've like fully immersed themselves permanently in that.
Just a taster.
Yeah.